Welcome back to the Home Tip Show. I'm Jane Manzuris. In this portion of the show, our chef Antoinette will give us a recipe for a delicious tilapia and marinara sauce. So with that, let's take you to Antoinette's kitchen.
Hi, this is Antoinette and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a wonderful marinara sauce. Marinara is the base for many wonderful dishes, and it's just made with a few simple ingredients, and once you have it made, you could take it anywhere from there. First of all, we're going to start by putting about 3 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil into the pan, and we're going to add 4 whole cloves to 5 whole cloves of fresh garlic, and we're going to let it saute just for a few minutes. Okay, now our garlic is getting nice and just a little bit brown, so I'm going to add the juices from the tomatoes, and I'm going to reserve the tomatoes and just put the juices in first. And what we're going to do is take the tomatoes out of the can and put them into a bowl. And I'm just going to lightly squeeze them with my hand because I want it to be a little chunky. And we're just going to kind of squish them around. And we're going to go ahead and add our tomatoes to the pan. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some freshly chopped parsley. And I've put about three big pinches in my hand, so maybe 4 tablespoons of parsley. And then this is fresh basil. And then we're just going to add salt and pepper, and this is going to be done to taste. And then basically this is your base marinara. And this is going to cook for about an hour. Okay, now that our marinara is cooking, remember I said that we could do so many things with the marinara as a base. So one of my favorite dishes is a tilapia, which is a farm-raised fish. So what we're going to do at first is we're going to make sure that our pan is on with some oil getting hot while we flour the fish. So I've rinsed the tilapia off and kind of patted it dry, but not too dry because we want the flour to stick to it. Now all I've done is I've put regular flour into the pan here, and I've just seasoned it a little bit with some salt and pepper. You can add other seasonings if you want, like garlic powder, stuff like that. I'm more of a fresh herb kind of girl, but if you want to put things like that in there, go ahead, it's your dish. All right, that's good. And we're going to just place the fish into the pan, and we're just going to let that cook for about 3 or 4 minutes on each side. So I have a whole onion here, and I'm just going to do just a real simple, not a dice or anything, just a nice slice. Okay, so now we're going to turn our fish over. See how nice and golden it's gotten on that side, and you could see when you're looking at it here, it's just kind of light colored about halfway up. That's another good way to tell when it's time to turn it. And I'm going to go ahead and discard the oil that we had in here. And then I'm just going to come over and I'm going to take these nice onions that we sliced and add them to the pan. Let them sit in there for a few minutes, and I'm going to take some of the Kalamata olives that we like to use. And you put these into your taste. Just going to put a little handful in there. And then I'm going to take capers. I don't know if you know capers. Capers are a little pickled berry, so I'm just going to take a little handful of those and sprinkle them around. And we're going to let the pan get nice and hot, and when it does, then we're going to take a little bit of white wine and deglaze it. While we're doing that, I like to add just a little bit of butter to this dish. This is just about a tablespoon and a half of butter. You don't have to have this in the dish if you're looking. This is actually a very healthy dish. Now it's getting nice and hot. When you see the steam kind of rising out of the pan, it's a good time to deglaze. So we're going to go over and take a little bit of white wine, just maybe a shot and a half, just a little bit of wine, and let that cook for maybe like a minute. And then just right before we go to put it in the oven, we're just going to finish it off with a little bit of our marinara. And this is what the marinara is going to look like after it's cooked down for about an hour. And we're just going to take about 3 ladles, maybe about 3 cups of sauce. Put it over the top, and then we're going to put it in our oven where it's going to cook for about 20 minutes. Okay, so now we're kind of on our final preparations for the dish. I took the liberty of making some penne pasta. Just to show you, we're going to use the same marinara that we used for the fish, and I'm just going to go ahead and put some on the pasta. Mix it up a little bit. Go over and get the tilapia out. Look at how beautiful it looks. Plate it. If you want to get a little fancy, you might want to put a couple of basil leaves for garnish, and put a little bit of parsley. And what a lovely dinner that you will have, and I'm sure anybody that's invited will enjoy it. Thank you very much for joining me again for another afternoon in the kitchen, and I hope you enjoy this dish.
That wraps up this edition of the Home Tip Show. We're hoping you've learned some quick and easy tips that will help you in your house. For the entire crew, I'm Jane Manzuris. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Home Tip Show.
I'm glad that this is the last day of shooting because I don't have to listen to the ice cream lady anymore.